In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about this month's Player of the Month, and it is between Wilson and Aguero. I'll go over some information that you need to know before the SBC is released. So in January, Wilson has had the total of 3 goals, 2 assists, and obviously he is playing for a much smaller team than Manchester City, which will actually give him an advantage to win it because he's playing for a smaller team. And also the advantage is that Wilson is going to be going for around 200 to 300,000 coins in my opinion, and Aguero will be the top end around 700k to around 1.1 million coins, and this is obviously a big difference. A lot of people will be voting for Wilson because EA did tweet the link to where you can vote for the Player of the Month, and since EA Sports do have millions of followers, a lot of people from EA, from FIFA, are going to be voting, and a lot of them will only be able to afford Wilson, so they'll definitely go and vote for Wilson, so this will give him a lot of advantage too. However, we do need to take into account that the public votes aren't really going to affect it too much. It is mostly going to be decided by the Premier League, which will still, in my opinion, favour Wilson because he is playing for the smaller club, as I mentioned before. So he does have 3 goals and 2 assists. Obviously Aguero, as I said, has 4 goals and 1 assist, so the difference there is that Aguero does have 1 more goal, but Wilson does have 1 more assist. So if we add each player's goals and assists together, they both equal to 5, and the difference we need to see here is if the Premier League favour more goals or assists. So the obvious answer to that will probably be goals, but for Wilson, because he is in the smaller club, it will be goals and assists most likely equal, maybe assists even leaning a bit more up, but then you could argue a goal would be more important. But for Aguero playing for the bigger club, I would say they would look out more for an assist because he has the likes of De Bruyne and Sterling playing next to him. If Aguero was to assist one of these players, it would show a more skill level which the Premier League would like. But if you think about it, technically for Aguero to score that many goals with such talented players around him, it's not that difficult, and they could argue if Wilson was there, he would score the same amount or even more. Maybe he would bang in 7 or 8, so you can't really look at it that way. And there are also some other ones like Pogba and Martial, but I mainly think that it's going to be between Wilson and Aguero. So going back to the Aguero and Wilson debate, it is most likely, in my opinion, going to be Wilson because he has shown in January that he can both score goals and assist players, whereas Aguero has shown that he can score goals, but he's been showing this every single month and he has been doing it excellently. Not to take away from the fact that Aguero is an amazing player, but it is quite easy to score a lot of goals around players that are really skillful, and he has only had 1 assist, and since they are right at the top of the league, his goals aren't going to make such a big difference. For example, if Wilson wasn't going to score the goals he did, maybe they wouldn't have won the game, and it would have meant that they wouldn't be in the same league position as they were now. Whereas if Aguero didn't score those goals he did, Manchester City would still most likely and definitely be at the top of the league table. So this is why I think Wilson will win. In my opinion, there's a 70% chance of Wilson winning January's Player of the Month and a 30% chance of Aguero winning, and the reason I'm still giving Aguero a kind of big 30% is because you never know, the Premier League could go for the bigger player, and there are a lot of Manchester City fans, so the vote could have a big effect on the last decision. But even if it doesn't have too much of the public decision to be affected, you never know, they could still go for Aguero for the bigger name and for the bigger publicity. You never know what the Premier League would do. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow around the same time with another video.